Let's turn our attention now to the nation's capital, where the House of Representatives is seeking alternative sources of income to fund the capital expenditure and training for the Nigerian Armed Forces. At a one-day public hearing of the proposed Armed Forces Support Trust Fund bill, lawmakers say 9% of the Armed Forces annual allocations as capital expenditure in the face of rising insecurity cannot guarantee a secured Nigeria. A National Assembly correspondent, Jokea Adisa, reports.
Despite recent and frightening rise in insecurity, Nigeria still ranks very low on the global defense spending. Every year, defense, now on first-line charge, takes a large chunk of the nation's budget, but with only 9% going for capital expenditure. In 2020, while Nigeria spent only $2.6 billion on its military, Algeria's security gulped $9.7 billion, Morocco spent $4.8 billion, and South Africa spent $3.1 billion. The House of Representatives believes the country's armed forces require extra budgetary spending to enable them cope with contemporary security challenges.
We are at war against insurgency, at war against terrorism, at war against kidnapping and all manner of insecurity. Hence, the need to uplift the resources available to our armed services to enable them procure the best tools to help win this war.
We are sensitive to the hardship in the land. We are also aware of the resultant backlash from the public on our military as a result of failure to effectively address the prevailing security challenges. No doubt, this bill will place even more burden of social accountability and trust on the Nigerian Armed Forces.
The military hierarchy here and the civil society community seem impressed with this move by lawmakers. They also made a few recommendations.
You cannot sign a contract, for example, with the U.S. manufacturers and pay 15% mobilization as is required by Procurement Act. Nobody will look at you.
We actually think that the bill should establish some level of criteria that set out what are the standards and what are the expectations and what are the set out objectives that they should be contributing to.
The committee chair provides insight into the observations as the public hearing winds down.
We overtax the private sector and ask them 2% of this, 1% of that. It will affect their ability to expand and do their businesses well. So we're going to try and find a balance.
Contributors to the debate on the proposed Armed Forces Support Trust Fund have canvassed a variety of ideas, including the rotation of the headship of the fund, the tenure of the fund, enlarging the resources base of the fund, as well as the eligibility of who occupies the seat of the Executive Secretary, Jokea Adisa. TVC News, Abuja.